This insert may not be suitable for sensitive viewers. Parental guidance is advised.
Did you know that 90% of wild-caught reptiles die within their first day of captivity? They may have appeared healthy to the non-expert, but they may have suffered physiological damage or their complex dietary and habitat requirements have not been met.
People think it's really cool to have a snake because in movies they're like really cool and dangerous. But it's actually not cool to keep a snake in a little enclosure. You should just leave them in the wild.
If you're thinking about owning a pet snake, where do you begin? Sean and Tracy remove wild snakes which have made their way into people's homes, rehabilitate snakes, and take care of snakes which are either no longer wanted or beyond the care of their owners. They also host educational talks to raise awareness about snakes. Sean, how do you feel about kids owning snakes as pets and the ease with which they can just walk into a pet shop and buy one?
It's a concern, Nita. You know, we find at the rehab centre often animals coming into us that are unwanted, in some cases uncared for. You spend 200-300, maybe 400 rand buying a snake like this, but what you don't realise is that 2 or 3 years down the line, he's going to be 4, 5, maybe 6 times that size. You don't need an enclosure now, you need an extra room. He's so big. I'm going to show you how big a python can get in a short period. This guy is, we still even consider a baby. He's just on 3 years old. He weighs about 30 kilograms, and he could get anything up to about 200 kilograms. And although he's used to handling, he's not tame. He's not going to wag his tail when you get home. He's not going to fetch the ball. Even though these animals are bought in pet shops, they're not really domestic pets. They're wild.
I heard about this boy named Tim who brought his pet snake to school, which initially caused chaos amongst the kids because they all wanted one. But their teacher educated them about pet snakes, which had such a positive effect on them all.
I want to teach other people about them. So like when I bring them to school, I teach people that they're really nice and they actually love the animals. When we got the snake, we had to get a very big permits and a whole bunch of things from Cape Nature.
With regards to the permit you get at the pet shop, it seems you get a transport permit and then it's up to you to call Cape Nature with your permit number so that you can then be given a keeper's permit once they've inspected your facility. I wonder how many people actually do call.
Like all conservation authorities in the rest of the country, you do need a permit to keep wild animals.
Does Cape Nature keep a register of all the snakes owned by private households?
We keep a register of the permits that we issue, and we expect the keepers of these animals to keep a register, and we check on that on a regular basis to see that they do conform to the permit conditions.
What impact does an escaped exotic snake or reptile have on an ecosystem?
These exotic animals could pose quite a serious threat to the environment, especially if they are invasive animals, and they can either replace or have major impacts on other animals, and it's virtually impossible to control those situations.
The kids need to understand that it's not a toy, and the parents need to understand that this animal in fact could become quite an expensive animal to feed, to care for.
And what do you need to feed something like this?
Lita, believe it or not, a python this size would eat sort of every 7 to 10 days. It's in one sitting he could easily eat anything up to three full-grown chickens, 3 rabbits, maybe 20 or 30 rats. So, you know, if you have a lot of storage space in your freezer, or you have a freezer that's assigned to keeping food for the snake, then it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Holding these 2 snakes has helped me realize what a huge responsibility they are and how huge they become. So you really need to consider it when you're buying one of them.
It's been a very big learning experience for me. I've taught my friends about them. Lots of people now understand it's something that you have to be committed from.
When Tim brought his snake in, I thought that it was really cool, and I also thought that I would get a snake because, like, it's cool to play with and stuff. But now that we've actually talked about it, I don't think I should get a snake because it's a lot of responsibility.
Say if I brought a snake and I'm 10, and in 20 years' time, when I'm 30, I'm still going to have that snake.
We really need to consider the quality of life these animals lead just because of our need to own a pet reptile. Even if you think owning a pet reptile is cool, please think before you buy, because it's up to us.